Welcome to today's conversation around GlobeSt Women of Influence. I have the great pleasure today of interviewing Miss Amberly Washington, a transaction expert and advisor with nearly 20 years of experience, first at CBRE across their global portfolio services. Now she is founder of 4P Ventures, which is a commercial real estate consultancy that builds and operates original brands across real estate, technology, and culture, always with a focus on equity, storytelling, and design. Is also your Crew Los Angeles president. Please welcome Miss Amberly Washington.
Hi, happy to be here. Thank you.
So, Amberly, what excites you about the commercial real estate market right now?
I'm really excited about this time because it's a need for necessary reinvention. Since 2020, commercial real estate has really been forced to look at its fundamentals. So, how we use office space, what does retail look like, how our communities gather. When it comes to LA specifically, we've got so many major events coming up over the next few years, from the Super Bowl and the Olympics. And so it's going to be more about just infrastructure. It's going to be about innovation and reimagining our city. I'm excited to see how the world perceives the many different projects that I see taking place across the city. And a lot of it is centering community alongside of the capital. So it's going to be really exciting to see where things go from here. It's a necessary change, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
I want to take a minute for all of our listeners and watchers to say that Amberly is going to be the keynote speaker at the upcoming GlobeSt Women of Influence series in LA. That's at LA Live JW Marriott on Tuesday, October 21. And Amberly, before we go into a little more on your outlook, I'm pretty excited about this brunch we're going to have. Can you talk a little bit about the event? What excites you about that?
I'm always excited to be in a room full of accomplished women, coming up into the industry. So I'm really excited to be a part of this event and share my knowledge, but also learn from the other women that are going to be speaking as well and hosting some of the different events. To me personally, the roundtables seem like they're going to be incredibly beneficial. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of the women there, as well as being able to take some skills and some knowledge back home to my business and share that with my crew members. I believe some crew members will be in attendance as well. So it's always a good time to get together with women in this industry.
Amen. Go Crew LA. I think GlobeSt has been very thoughtful. They have planned this at a time where it's a half-day event. And so it doesn't take a lot from your day, and yet you get this opportunity to network with other women. So it's exciting. I'm going to turn the conversation for a minute, Amberly, into the challenges that we face. When we look at LA and specifically the recent wildfires and just really how much loss the whole market has experienced, from your vantage point, what do you think is the most urgent opportunity that we see in rebuilding LA? Could that be across infrastructure, policy, finance, trust? Where is that for you?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of all of that. So for me, I think the opportunity is to rebuild with more intention rather than just building what's already there. We have a chance to rethink how we support homeowners and small businesses, and then how we look at zoning, infrastructure, design, community planning in ways that serve the long-term needs of the community. And some of the biggest challenge that I see right now is that a lot of this requires coordination across different sectors that don't necessarily interact with each other every day. So whether it's policymakers or developers, community activists, business owners, a lot of it is going to be around how to bridge those different disciplines in order to make it all work. So I did also want to highlight two people within Crew that I think are they're doing amazing work. Mara Hudson with Humanity Associates. She just recently started a consultancy around community engagement and communications. And then Marika Erdely, she is with Green Economy, and she has a sustainability consultancy. And the work that I'm hearing that they're doing is really great and really impactful. And there's so many other members within Crew that are giving back in ways that they can. So I think the more that we're able to tap into different areas and bring our resources together and then find those people that can translate across different sectors, I think we'll be able to move forward in a meaningful and impactful way.
Beautifully said. I think it is all about that integration. And I love shout out to Crew LA and to all those who are working forward to do that. I want to pivot a little bit to talk about 4P Ventures and one of the brands that you guys are working on, which I read about called, I think it's Revere. And what that is doing is you are providing strategy brokerage, placemaking, venue activations, and pop ups. And so, my question is, in this city where we're recovering from so much disruption from wildfires, how do you see these temporary or adaptive activations like pop ups or interim uses? How are they tools for the economic recovery and tools for a community that's still healing?
Yes, absolutely. So for me, I think this is something temporary activations are really underutilized. And I think they really can serve as economic engines and emotional anchors for communities. And in a times like these, especially with the wildfires, we really need both. And so with my company, I'm partnering with developers to host pop-up markets and retail and brand activations and other placemaking work. A lot of pop-ups can really generate additional revenue for struggling businesses. They can test out new locations, activate, empty or underutilized spaces that have just been sitting vacant. I even think about it as far as creating gathering places to help people heal, and then even just testing ideas before they become permanent. So I think the more that we tap into this, I think the better while we're dealing with the uncertainty, and it'll allow you to pivot and try different things. And so when I think about temporary activations, I'm thinking of farmers markets, even outdoor movie screenings, wellness classes, or communal workspaces. Those are just a few of the many different things that can be a temporary activation. And it can really bring some sense of normalcy and togetherness in times like this. So I think we can get together, gather, and build while we're waiting for the rebuild.
Put that on a t-shirt. I like it. Get
Thank
together and build while we're waiting for the rebuild. I love it.
Mhm.
I want to stick with LA for 1 minute, and then the last couple questions are going to be more about your journey and your vision, kind of personally as a leader. But sticking with LA, if you had the opportunity to pitch one change in policy, finance, design, or process that would make LA's redevelopment more equitable and more creative, and ideally unlock more opportunities for women led developments, what would you pitch?
Yeah, I would love to see a small business or women-owned business real estate recovery vouchers or some sort of program. Right now, I know of a few grants out there that will support some upfront costs, but it would be really great to find a way where we could bring more long-term grants for people. So whether it's 12 months of free rent upfront, I think that could really help, especially if you were able to move them into underutilized spaces that have been vacant for a while. So it also benefits the landlord. So it'd be a way to kind of kill two birds with one stone.
Really, really smart. We're seeing so much by way of public-private partnerships. The P3 discussion is everywhere, and I think I hear it a lot at the large level, right? Like we're building a huge development. But it sounds like what's needed is kind of little mini public-private partnerships is kind of what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. I think there's a lot of us out there that want to find a way to give back and just don't know how. And so I think just finding a way to do that would be, even if it's on a small scale or just offering space. I know some landlords are doing that, but it's not really all centered in one place. So yeah, if there's a way to just bring all those resources together, and you're a landlord over here, a list of landlords that have available properties, and then people needing it, finding a way to match it would be great. I've seen a few Google Docs go around with people trying to get that going, but I do think it would require some sort of larger entity to kind of bring it all together. But yeah, we're all just looking for ways to give back. Even with crew, we took a moment to just kind of take a step back, and there was a lot of noise going on, everyone trying to do a lot at once, which was fantastic. But I think we looked at what our skill set was, what we are able to do. And so we did start a small wildfire relief fund that we asked our members to participate in. And before you knew it, we had our other Crew LA chapters donating to it as well. And it benefits Altadena girls and Habitat for Humanity's efforts. And so that was just a small way that we could give back. And then additionally, we have different crew members that have offered to donate comped or discounted services. So we've been building a list for that for homeowners and small businesses. So any little bit helps, just getting out there and trying it. But yeah, if you can coordinate with a few people on a smaller scale, I guarantee that can make just as much of a difference.
I love it, and it's beautiful to envision these Google Sheets going around, that these well-intentioned women that we're all working together. You're putting into motion real impact.
Thank you. I like to think so.
So, Amberly, what is a moment in your career when you had to lead through ambiguity or crisis? And how did you draw on your values, perspective, or resilience to navigate it? And then how might that apply to what's going on in LA now?
Absolutely. So during COVID, I was working at JLL on the Kaiser Permanente account, and we were watching hospital admission rates climb. And we really didn't have a lot of information to go on. And there was just no playbook for a pandemic or anything like this at all. So no one knew exactly what we needed or when, but we knew we needed to act fast. And so I sprang into action and I secured vaccination and testing sites across Southern California, just really tapping into our landlord network and our JLL brokers. That required all of us just working together across multiple cross-functional teams at JLL and Kaiser Permanente, from the real estate managers and directors, brokers, medical directors, call center employees, pretty much anyone and everyone that you can think of. And really what struck me was that that uncertainty actually forced us to be more collaborative, especially across silos that didn't always interact with each other. So there was just people from different disciplines, just really translating across different stakeholders. And we all just had a goal to do what we can to make things better. And I see a lot of that in what we're dealing with right now with the LA wildfires. So there's a very similar dynamic there. And so we do need to see more real estate people communicating and working alongside of community leaders and policymakers, working with small business owners. It would be great to see more collaboration with developers and residents, because just working in silos or working in one single sector, like this is the time where you've got to really know how to work the spaces in between. And so for me, I really enjoy the fact that even though obviously the pandemic was tragic, it was really great to see our team come together and do something for the greater good. And I see a lot of that same teamwork happening now.
Learning how to work the spaces in between. I think that's just
Hmm.
such an important piece of the puzzle because you're talking about all of the intangibles, the things that happen in between meetings, the things that happen in between approvals, and there's just so much of it.
Absolutely.
And Amberly, let's end on our note where we are getting ready for your keynote. We're going to close our eyes for a minute. We're going to envision that you're going to walk on that stage, and there's these people who are your friends. They're people you work with at Crew LA. They're people that you are, that they're people that you haven't met yet. And I want to know, as you prepare for this, what's the message that you want them to hear? What do you want them to walk away with, and how do you embody that message?
I think I really just want women to walk away just knowing that you don't have to stay in one lane. So if you want to use your expertise and you want to grow, you're welcome to do that. You can be multidisciplinary. You can build across sectors. If you have a vision for commercial real estate that doesn't look like the pre 2020, that's okay. And now you have an opportunity to really act on that. And I think that's really exciting. Typically, commercial real estate, as we've known it growing up, has just been pick a specialty, go deep and stay there. And there's a need and advantage for that, but there are also problems that we're dealing with right now that are multidimensional, and they require multidimensional thinkers. And I think there's so many women out there just like that. And for me, that's one of the main reasons I created 4P Ventures, is because I wanted to house brokerage, technology, content creation, community building. And I didn't see that. And I was kind of operating on those different areas separately, but they're all very much connected and tied to each other. I just want to tell people, don't shrink to fit someone else's vision. I had a really great conversation not too long ago with a crew member. She had an idea for an app and took it to her boss and said, hey, I want to build this app. So I would love to be able to have a moment where I can build that on the side, or we can partner together as the company and herself and build it out and, share in that together. And they jumped on board. They were all in. And, just like that, just from believing in herself and a simple ask, her R&D funding is paid for. And I hear a lot of stories like that all throughout Crew, all throughout commercial real estate. And I think we just need to tell those stories more, because there's so many more of us like that out there. I really just think we can build our own tables and just be a part of something bigger.
I love it. And I want our tables be so beautiful and filled with so many amazing, diverse people and so warm and wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of tables, I would like to cheers to you, Miss Amberly, because I'm glad that we get to share a table at this upcoming brunch. If I may, I think we both have a little fun. Cheers.
Cheers. Mine's a little full.
Yours is a little full. You're gonna have to drink a little. Ah,
Cheers, everybody. I'm excited to welcome you all to GlobeSt Women of Influence brunch coming up on October 21st.
cheers.
Cheers.